What is the Biden administration's strategy to deter Chinese coercion against Taiwan, and what metrics are you using to measure success?
Thanks for your question. I've worked on the maintenance of peace and stability across the Taiwan Straits for most of my career, almost 35 years. So I would simply say we believe that the guiding document of our engagement is the Taiwan Relations Act, passed in '79. It mandates us to have the capabilities in the Western Pacific, which we do, to resist aggression. We've provided enormous amount of capacity to allies and partners in the Indo-Pacific. Huge amount of deterrence is not just what the United States does alone, but with other countries. And
You recognize their sustained coercion campaign and what they're doing.
Of course.
It will bring Taiwan to their knees without an invasion. We must do something.
Yeah. So first of all, I believe Taiwan is a highly resilient. They just had one of the most successful elections in their history. By the way, much more successful than ours more recently. I do believe they recognize that many countries stand with them.
How do you think it's important, or how important is it for our resolve here in the United States to support Ukraine for bolstering? How does that have a way it helps bolstering deterrence in the Indo-Pacific? And whether or not, if we fail in Ukraine, will there be any lessons that that Beijing will take away as a result of or the lack of our resolve in Ukraine?
So it's a great question. I would just have the committee note in the last couple of days what we've seen is one of the largest exercises between Russia and China in the Indo-Pacific. We're continuing to see them working closely together in a variety of areas, not just in Ukraine, but increasingly across the Taiwan Strait. And so, look, there are academics and think tankers who say, oh, no, we gotta not focus as much on Ukraine. We gotta focus more on what's going on in the cross-strait. My counsel to you is that you cannot separate these things. How we fare on the battlefield in Ukraine, how the Ukrainians do, has incredible implications for how others think about potential areas of conflict in the Indo-Pacific. And I will say what's happening in Ukraine on the battlefield is leading militaries around the globe, but particularly in the Indo-Pacific, to think about their own procurement and their own strategies. I'm pleased to say I know that the chairman and you had dinner last night with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. They are deeply focused on learning the lessons ourselves so we can apply it to new potential avenues of deterrence in the Indo-Pacific.